Hello and welcome back to another video. It's Allie and today I'm going to be sharing with you my word of the year 2022. I'll just jump right in. 2021 was an amazing year in some respects and one of the hardest years I've ever endured in others. A lot of highlights, because I don't want to focus on the negatives, is that I got engaged, I got married, I moved into a beautiful home that I'm in right now with my husband. We were able to get a dog and a cat and just really start our dream life that we've always wanted to live. And we're healthy and we're safe, and all that to say 2021 was also one of the hardest years. I dealt with a lot of loss and we watched a lot of people go through a lot of really hard things, and honestly, we're going to continue to see some of that, and it's hard. And I don't want this to be a Debbie Downer video. I want this to be uplifting and encouraging. So I'm gonna kind of cut off that there, but I'll just say, even though there's so much good in 2021, there were hard things too. And I think that made a really huge difference in my perspective, just how truly blessed and thankful I am for the things that I do have and the things that were going right. You know, despite heartache and disappointment that came with 2021, I just hope that there's encouragement for myself and for you guys, that you'll see that there are good things and that you'll take the time to find those things. So when I sat down and actually thought about how I wanted to do another word of the year, I've done this in the past, and I just sat down and I thought, what do I want my word of the year to be? And for those of you who aren't familiar with this, there's a lot of really awesome Christian women who post their word of the year on Instagram, on YouTube, and it's so encouraging to see. I know Sadie Robertson has done this, and I know Tori Masters has done this, and many others. They find this and then how they back it up. So what you do, find a word that you want to focus on, and a lot of times that almost not necessarily replaces a New Year's resolution, but it is a New Year's resolution in some respects. And I will just say, I have done this in the past, and it is much more encouraging and possible to finish out your word of the year than an exercise goal or losing weight or staying with a diet or whatever it may be. I mean, it has been awesome. I've done it in the past and loved it, and this year I knew I needed to pick a word that was going to really impact me and influence me throughout the entire year. When I started thinking about my word of the year, I knew that I needed to pick something that would basically hold me accountable for all the things that I felt like 2021 that I was lacking in 2021 in some regard. And the biggest thing was that I felt like I needed to continue to make sure that I was prioritizing my health in all aspects of my life. So my spiritual health, my relationship with God, really digging into His word, what He wants for me, what His will is for my life. My physical health, because if I'm being honest, after I graduated high school, I stopped working out completely. Hayden and I got married, so I'm learning how to cook healthier and different things like that, because my mama isn't cooking my meals for me anymore. And honestly, she went above and beyond making sure we had awesome meals that were healthy for us while we played sports. And then even after we graduated high school and stuff. And so just learning to take care of my body in a new season of life. And then also, which I think a lot of people either struggled with in 2020 because of lockdown or just finally opened up about, but mental and emotional health, so important. And that's something that I probably struggled with the most in the last couple of years, just dealing with things that personally were affecting me. And also I have a really big heart and a lot of empathy, and just I know that social media brings everything going on in the world and sucks you in, and just feeling the depths of their hurts and things like that. And I know personally for me that was becoming overwhelming. And then also my personal day-to-day life, just my mental health, dealing with things that happen. It was a lot. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat it. That wasn't God's will for my life, to live in that turmoil and that constant state of just worrying and anxiety. I just really wanted to prioritize that so that I can feel God's full joy, God's full peace, the things He really truly wants for my life, so that I can have those and just feel encouraged by those daily. I know that when I spend quality time with God and when I put effort into my relationship with Him, it's much easier to prioritize everything else in my life, because there's such a clear picture for you and for your life. And that's not to say that there are never curveballs. That's not to say that there are never things that come up unexpected, because they do. I just want to be able to feel like I can see what God has in store for me in the future, and that I'm prepared for that as much as possible. I'm gonna read some verses here that I have been reading because they were things that stuck out to me when I was looking for things about health and spiritual well-being and physical health and just different aspects of what God has in store for us in this amazing book. And so I'm gonna just read some of those to you guys now. I hope that you're encouraged by this. This first one is the book of Psalm, chapter 73, verse 26, and it says,
"My health may fail and my spirit may grow weak, but God remains the strength of my heart. He is mine forever."
And that's the first one I want to read to you, just because I want to continually remember that God's in control. My flesh, my physical heart, they are just parts of who I am, and that God truly is my strength, my rock, my foundation, and He's the reason that I'm here right now. And I wanted that to be first and foremost in my mind as I'm going forward this year.
"My son, do not forget my teaching, but keep my commands in your heart, for they will prolong your life many years and bring you peace and prosperity."
And then Proverbs 3, verses 7 and 8. "Be not wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and turn away from evil. It will be healing to your flesh and refreshment to your bones." Proverbs 16:9 says, "The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps." When you read that in the perspective of, going over what happened in the last year and some of those harder things that you went through, and then remembering that the Lord has a plan for you, you're on a path, that the Lord's establishing your steps. It is just a good reminder that I'm not in control of everything, that the Lord is in control, and that even though I may have plans and ideas that are my own, the Lord, He's going to be able to establish my steps and lead me down the paths that He intends. 17, verse 22, and it says, "A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." 1 Corinthians 3, verse 16. "Do you not know that you are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in you?" 1 Corinthians 10:31. "So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God." I just think that's such a great reminder that our actions are so important and they mean something to the Lord. Eating and drinking are things that we do on a daily. They're things that we do without thinking most of the time. And that it says, even when you're eating and drinking or whatever you're doing, do everything for the glory of God. And I just think that's so, so cool. Those are the verses that kind of spoke to me and my heart as I was going through trying to figure out a year of health. And that really, to me, just means that I'm prioritizing my relationship with Jesus, that I'm taking care of my physical body that He's blessed me with, whether that is working out, eating healthy, spending time outside. And then on my spiritual journey, my spiritual side, I want to be reading my Bible every day. I want to be digging into God's Word and what He wants for my life and what He has planned for me. On top of my word of the year, which is health, I did set some goals for myself for this coming year. One of them, a simple accomplishment in the morning, that is to make my bed, simplify my life, and just really focus on the things that are from God and of God that are joyful and peaceful and encouraging. I have set an exercise goal, which I'm hoping I'll be able to stick with, but that's just to exercise at least 4 times a week so that I'm taking care of my physical body that God has provided me. So my spiritual side, Hayden and I are doing the Bible recap, where you read the entire Bible in a year chronologically. And then there's also podcasts and other resources that are available to really dig in and understand what you're reading. So we have like what we're reading that day and then the podcast that goes with it. They also have a book. So that's the main thing that our goal is to just really spend that time every day intentionally with God and learn about who He is and His character. That's our biggest goal for 2022 is to read the entire Bible and to really have a good understanding of what we've read and what we can comprehend. I know that 2022 is going to have some changes. I'm going to graduate college. I'm going to start my job with my degree. I know there's a lot of unforeseen things that are going to be happening, and so I want to be equipped and just be ready for that. So I really hope you're encouraged by this. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are, and an amazing year, and that you are safe and healthy. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.